All right, the Soft Lock is a weekly segment on the podcast where one of our mega marks from our Patreon, is that going to change? Are you not going to call them mega marks anymore? Asks us a question, gives us a topic to debate. It's a question of the week with a fancy name. This week, it comes from the best bitch from the Best Batch Promotions, the Elder Spork. And his question is, when it's all said and done, where does the current console generation rank among other console generations?
This is a good one.
Oh, man. So current consoles, we're talking about PS5,
The Xbox One.
S and S.
Yeah, not one.
Switch, I guess, is in there.
Switch is kind of...
It's kind of last gen.
Yeah.
It's like
multi-generational.
The OLED. And, yeah, I don't know. Man, where does it rank amongst the other?
So,
what's your best generation?
I'm going to say the 360 PS3 generation, because we all know PS2, GameCube, Xbox, they were great. But PS3 and 360, I feel like took it up a notch. And that could be generational. That could be whatever. I love my PS4. I played it a long time, had it a long time. I feel like Xbox One, until the Game Pass came out, just didn't hit as good as the PS4. But the 360 had bangers. PS3 had bangers. They were actual like game changers as far as games, as far as online gaming, as far as being called multiple names in Call of Duty lobbies. Like that was peak.
I'm very surprised that for some reason I just thought that you were immediately going to go with PlayStation 1 and N64.
They were good. They were great. I mean, they're a lot of people's favorites, but were they the best? Did they change much? I mean, from coming from what? Super Nintendo and Sega to that, yeah, that was a big step up. There was also the Dreamcast. There was a Sega Saturn. It was just messy. There was just a lot of stuff going on. Now, I mean, we're at the point where what's going to make now, like this generation, better? I feel like it's going to be just VR stuff. Because the PS5, the Xbox Series S and X are just like flawless consoles.
And it really is the leap in online play as well.
Yeah.
You don't need adapters to play online with the PlayStation 3 and the 360 like you did with the PS2.
Yeah. Which is cool because at least you got it back in that era. But man.
Ooh. I am inclined to agree with you because there are so many great games, and I was torn between PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation, and Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think the consensus of me and John is PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And do you think that generation is better or worse than the current generation?
Like I said, you can't get better than what we're getting right now. Games that look great, they play great. There's still some issues with games launching without being completed, but there's patches. I mean,
we had that with N64 games.
We didn't have patches in N64. So where does this current generation rank? It's up there, but I wouldn't put it at the very top. It's only up from here.
I mean, like we said earlier, you think in 20, 30 years, we may look back and be like, man,
still can't get a PS5.
Yeah, but you don't know. Like we joke, but it may be like, man, we didn't know what we had at the time. Like, think about it. Where in 20, 30 years, what are Spider-Man games going to look like? Like, we both love the Spider-Man video games. Like, could you imagine what they're going to look like in like 5 generations of consoles?
That's a little nuts to think about.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, let us know what you think about where current consoles rank among the legacy of consoles. And you can let us know on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. But